Hi, everyone. This is Lilybugs Library, and my name's Linda. And thank you for showing up or coming back. And it's good to see everyone. So I hope you're having a great weekend. It's beautiful and sunny here today, so that's always nice. So I did want to tell you about an ARC that I got from NetGalley. So thank you to them and to the author and publisher. And it was I'm a little bit late getting it out to you. Time just kind of slipped away from me. I think it came out around the end of June, so you definitely can find it now. So I'll show it to you. Hopefully you can see it this way. So it's Murder in the Reading Room by Anita Davidson. See, I got a background on here, so it's harder to see it, but it was a historical cozy mystery that took place just after World War II, I believe. Yeah, I'm sure it was just after World War II. I'm questioning myself now. But it was about this woman named Hannah who runs a bookshop, but surprisingly, the bookshop wasn't really that big of a part of the story because they lived above the bookshop, I think, and it was being renovated. Anyway, she and her husband end up going to live with her aunt and her aunt's companion. They're not married at this point. They have separate rooms, but they're obviously dating at the very least. So her aunt's name is Violet, and she's really kind of ahead of her time. She is a woman's suffragette. I can never say that word right. Anyway, she's trying to make sure women get the vote, which at this point they have gotten. Although there seem to be some restrictions around it, which I never realized there was. That's something I should look up and find out more about. But anyway, she has gotten the vote. She is allowed to vote. But the funny thing is, Hannah is not allowed to vote yet. And Hannah is married. So she's definitely an adult, but I'm not sure exactly how old. So I'm wondering if like you had to be over 25 to vote if you were a woman back in the 1940s. I don't really know. Anyway, that part was interesting. And so she and her husband move into this hotel that her aunt owns. And her aunt's companion used to be the chief of police, but he's retired and there's a new chief of police. And so, in the midst of all this, Hannah goes with a friend of hers who is a reporter at a local paper, and they end up discovering a body. And so that brings everything, starts to happen with the mystery. I thought it was really well done. I've never read that author before. I really enjoyed the mystery. I enjoyed the characters. I thought they were really interesting and really Hannah, I feel like we really got to know a lot. The other ones, not so much, but still enough that I didn't feel like they were strangers by the end of the book. And so that was fascinating. And then it was a piece of art that also gets stolen, which has a lot of kind of interesting legends about it and things like that. And we hear a little more about what happened to art during World War II. So it kind of combined a lot of things that I have an interest in, and yet it was still cozy, and it was just kind of fascinating to listen to. And the characters were some of them were quite quirky. Aunt Violet doesn't mind a good stiff drink, and just different things like that. So it was cute. So that one I would actually give 5 out of 5. I thought it was really well done, and I would definitely look for that author again. I assume she's probably written a bunch of things, and I just don't know it. So I will take a look for her. So that was the main thing I wanted to tell you about. I will bring up Goodreads though, see if I've read anything else lately that you might find interesting. Bear with me for just a second here. So, what have you been doing on this lovely sunny day? Have you been had a chance to do anything over the weekend? Have you been out with family or gone to the park or the beach? I'd love to hear what you're doing over your summer. So, feel free to message me and let me know. Okay, so I did read Dangerous Secrets, which was I think it was a love inspired Harlequin book. It felt like one. I think I'm close. I think it was a Harlequin intrigue. But that one was good. It was about this woman named Jill, and she is trying to, yeah, she kind of has a problem with her ex. They ended up breaking up and not on good terms, but now he's back in town and he's kind of, trying to get her to, they're both, I guess, trying to forgive each other. And he kind of wants things to start up again. She's not so sure. And then someone discovers um, that the man is in town and starts threatening her and him, trying to get their attention. And he is a lawyer, I believe. So he thinks it has something to do with a case that he was once involved in. So all in all, I thought it was quite interesting. It did have a dog in the book. Personally, I didn't think there was enough dog in the book, but that's just my, maybe my bias. But I think if you put a dog on the cover, I darn well better get to know that dog in the book. And I didn't feel like I did with this one. So, there's that. So I'd probably give it, yeah, probably a 3 out of 5. And then there was another one that I read called In the Shadow of the Glacier. And this was by Vicki Delaney, who's pretty well known in cozy circles. And this one is a Constable Molly Smith book. Now, it does take place in Canada, which I, really enjoy the fact that it took place in British Columbia. And it's about this American who comes there as a Vietnam War draft dodger, and he has left money and land to the town. But the money must be used to build a garden to honor the draft dodgers, and that's causing a lot of problems in the town. So that one was interesting. Would I call it cozy? No, I actually wouldn't. It wasn't, I'd call it cozy adjacent. It did have some language in it. It did seem a little grittier than your average cozy. So, like I said, in that way, I'd call it cozy adjacent. So I would probably give that one 3 out of 5 as well. So that's what I've read since you heard from me last. Right now, I'm working on, what is it called? It's the first in the Patience, yeah, Murder Comes Ashore, Patience Price Mysteries. And this one's book 2. I've already read book 1. So I'm working on that one right now. So that, is interesting. And so that is it for me. Like I said, it's been I won't say it's been a quiet week, but it's been a low reading week, I guess. And I do have another arc I'm working on now. I think I've got like 2 more for July. So I'm going as fast as I can to get those done. So you will hear from me when those finish. And until then, I hope everybody had a great weekend and I hope you're enjoying your summer. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.